Education Chair John Isaacs.
You're recorded now.
The meeting is being recorded, just so that you all know. It is definitely my pleasure to see everybody. Okay, I see Anthony is on. So this is our Education and Youth Services Committee meeting for March 28th. And I'm here with a prayerful heart with everything that's going on in our schools and with our youth these days. I'm trying to see who I would love to have to lead us into prayer. Would anyone like to volunteer?
I see someone with a red hat.
Yes, I do. I see my vice chair, Anthony Reed.
Let's go, y'all. Let's go. I ain't afraid. Father God, thank you for today, because today is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad. I thank you for Community Board 12. I thank you for Ursula. We're praying for George to have a speedy recovery. And also, we ask that you just take control of this meeting, oh God. Just help us lift up the community, do better with the community, and also be a part of the community. With that, I touch and agree that it's done. In Jesus' name, in Jesus' blood, amen, amen, amen.
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 Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Alfredo. Okay. Trying to see who else is here. Okay, John. What am I doing? I want to welcome everybody. I would really actually like to start with I have a few new members. Deborah Walker, I see that you're here. If you don't mind, would you like to please say a few words?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Deborah Walker. I'm happy to be a part of the Community Board 12, and especially happy to be a part of the Education and Youth Committee. So I'm looking forward to our work together. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And Dr. Samuels?
Sherry, you can call me
Sherry.
Sherry.
Okay.
Thank you for having me on this committee. I look forward to working with everybody, and also welcome to Community Board 12. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Mr. Reed, Anthony, would you like to say a little something? Anthony Reed is the vice chair.
I just want to say I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad that we can support the rest of the board members, and I ask that we stay connected.
Thank you so very much. I'm looking for a couple of other people that I do not see. Ursula, is there anything that you would like to say this evening, my love?
Thanks everybody for coming, and have a good meeting.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Beatrice Cornell.
Hi. Sorry, guys, I was stuffing my dinner down my throat. Thank you all for being here. We're really trying to make a change in this community. We have some new members, we have some elders, we have some elder members of this board, and we're all really just trying to develop a unified, cohesive front for you all. Without you all and your voices, we can't do much. We're an advisory committee, right? And so our goal is really to include your voices. And so we really urge you to continue to participate. I love to see so many members here as part of this committee. And as we were talking about earlier, there's so much happening in our society, in our community. And so this is the opportunity for us to really come together and uplift our communities and decide what are the things that we want to see happening within this community. And so the board is a place where you can come, contribute, and we hope to see you continue to participate. And for all my fellow community board members, I love to see you here. And so Ms. Talene Dickerson, Goldie, take us away.
I'm sorry, I'm sitting here smiling because I see my niece is on here, Dr. Lopez. I just saw her come up. What I would like to really share with you at this time is our mission statement, just to make you aware. The Education and Youth Services Committee collaborates with public and private schools, colleges and universities, teachers and parents, or guardians, along with all community stakeholders, to ensure positive educational outcomes for our community. The goal is to improve educational services provided to the community in our district and collaborate with our communities in the borough. This committee will serve as a liaison between community members, mental health providers, and the New York City Department of Education, including but not limited to libraries, parent advocates, parent associations, CEC, District 11, educators and principals, school safety, administration for children's services, district attorney's office, New York City Department of Youth and Community Development, and local organizations and nonprofits. I think that says it all about where my heart is. In case you don't know me, I am Talene Dickerson. I am a retired educator, administrator, dean, grandmother, mother, advocate. So I am so excited to look over and see all 28 of your wonderful faces and names. And is there anyone else that would like to say something before we get started? I see Miss Bond. Good evening, Miss Bond.
Good evening. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get myself situated. I'm going to get in on my computer. Good evening, everyone.
Not a problem. It's a pleasure.
Yes, thank you all for coming out. I love to see so many people involved within our community. Take it away.
Miss Williams, good evening. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. I would love to hear from you.
Good evening. I am from the Office of the Public Advocate. I'm your borough advocate for the borough.
It's
I'm
my
in
pleasure.
another meeting in person as well.
Thank you. Let's see who else. Okay, Mr. Noel, is there anything you would like to contribute?
Sure. My name is Mitch Noel, and I'm from DYCD Neighborhood Advisory Board. Pretty much, I would like to do some presentation later on after when you finish with discuss the board business to let you know about the Neighborhood Advisory Board and why I'm here. And thank you so much for having me.
You're quite welcome. Alfredo, Mr. Figueroa, would you like to say anything?
You called on me, love?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't.
It's okay. Is there anything you'd like to put in?
Oh, no, just thank you for having me in your meeting. Look forward to it.
Awesome. I would like to introduce to you, even though I know she's not ready. She's probably gonna yell and scream at me. But Carol Singleton, would you mind saying a few words about what you do, please?
Yes, thank you. Just to let you know, Talene and I used to work together in the schools, and similar background. I was a teacher, a dean, and administrator. Currently, I work at Children's Aid as supervisor of the educational unit. We also are looking to add some more folks to our staff. We're looking to add another supervisor to the educational unit and also an educational specialist. In case you're not exactly aware of what the educational specialists do, we basically advocate for our children and families in the school system, making sure that all of the kids are getting the services they should be getting. We get to know our guidance counselors, assistant principals, principals of different schools that our children are attending. Make sure we go to IEP meetings, support the fact that the children get all of their services, get their report cards, stay on top of report cards, attendance, academic progress, and just in general, advocate for all the things that the kids need in school. We also have part of our staff is also involved in college success. We help the children, the young people decide on different colleges and professions, and we help them with their applications and get into colleges. And we follow them through the whole college experience, making sure they get all the supports and tutoring that they need. So that's a little bit about what I'm currently doing, and I've been an educator like all my life. So it's just another aspect of being an educator.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Can I ask who is that on the phone with the last number of 91? Hello?
Hi, that's Carla. Yeah,
Oh,
my computer
okay.
audio is not working. Yeah.
It's not a problem. Thank you so very much.
Okay.
Carla, would you like to say a few words? I know you told me today that, I know what you said, but how about it? Okay, that would be no.
Tolene, can I ask you something?
Yes, sir.
The young lady was saying about the positions that they're hiring for. Is there any kind of way we can get some information on that, and what's the qualifications that's needed for those positions she's talking about?
If I can share my screen, I can share one of the postings for you, and go over some of it with you. Am I able to share?
John?
Can you get it to Tolene, and Tolene to just spurt it out to us?
Yeah, I can do it that way.
Okay.
Well,
Carol, you have sent it out to me, and I can send it out to them.
She could share in this.
So what it is,
I can share it.
is I'm on the Children's Aid website, and I scrolled in to show one of the job postings. So I don't know exactly how I send that to you. Well, let me see.
At the bottom, do you have something that says share?
Let me look.
On the screen.
So then she should be able to see what it is you're looking at if you hit share.
Oh, I believe so. Can you see what I'm looking at?
No.
No.
It's not showing it. Let me see. Let me try again. For some reason, let me see. Is it? I think that's there. Let's see. You see something now?
No.
No, Miss.
What about now?
Oh wait, now we're seeing something.
So you see something, it says supervisor of ed specialist?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if you just put Children's Aid in your browser on Google or any browser really, you'll come to the Children's Aid website. And right in the front of the website, it's going to say careers. In particular, this is the job description for the supervisor of educational specialists. You do need to have a master's for that job. And we have, like, for instance, I was, worked in the Board of Ed. So we do have a number of people on our staff that are either supervisors or educational specialists that have a background in the New York City public schools or the charter schools in New York City. That person would report to the director of education. There's the salary range on top. And it's primarily supervising the educational specialists. So each of our ed specialists, we service about 650 children in the New York City area. We do all boroughs. We have some specialists in Staten Island, and we do Brooklyn, we do Bronx, we do Manhattan, we do all boroughs, Queens, and as I said before, what we really do is we advocate for the kids. So if they're having a meeting on IEPs, we attend those meetings and we make sure they get the services. We also periodically go visit the schools. Our ed specialists get to know all the families that we service, that they service on their caseload. They get to know the principal, assistant principal, deans, and teachers at the children's schools so that they can go up and be aware of how the children are progressing with their education. And so basically that's it. So this one job posting is, as I said, for supervisory position. And then there's the education specialist job. You need a master's degree and some experience working with youth in an educational setting. And that job begins at, I think it's around 50,000. So, and it goes like from 50 to maybe like 65-ish, something like that. But if you go on to the website, did you each get a little bit of a chance to look at this posting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
I can take you back. Let's just, I'll click on this.
Excuse me, Miss
And-
Singleton. This is Miss
Yeah.
Bond speaking. I just wanted to let you know that I went to the website and I put the website in the chat, the link in the chat, so that
Oh,
people
okay.
can access it that way as well. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're
I
welcome.
was just trying to take you all the way back to the beginning so you could see where you would access these job postings. I mean, there are quite a few jobs, but my unit is the educational unit. So I was, talking about those jobs that are available. So let's see, can I get back? I don't know. Let me see. I was trying to go all the way back to the front. Let's see, previous.
Thank you, Denise.
You're
I don't
welcome.
know, maybe it's easier for you to share the front page. Oh, wait, here, careers. Let me see if that takes me back to the front page. Yeah, here we go. So this is what the front page looks like. And then you just click on apply for a job there. And if you get to a different page, then you get to the page that says careers, similar to this, and then you just click on it and it will show you all the jobs that are available.
Miss Singleton, that's
thank
what the link is to that page the page you're showing now. That's what the link is to.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Thank you,
So,
Denise.
and then
No problem.
Talene has my contact information. And she can share it if there's anyone that's interested in applying for the job and they'd like more information, they can call me directly or send me an email. Talene, you can share that with them, right?
Yes, without a doubt.
Okay. Thank you. And it's a pleasure meeting with you guys, everybody again. I've been on one or two of the meetings and I hadn't been for a while. So I'm really glad to see everybody. I live in the area too, so it's really nice to see all my neighbors.
Thanks a lot.
So
Yeah, we were at John Philip Sousa together at Baychester.
yeah.
Okay,
I'll stop sharing now, right?
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Desiree Campbell, how are you?
Yes, ma'am. How are you, Ms. Dickerson?
I'm excellent. I wanted to give you an opportunity. Desiree Campbell is one of our new members. Just give her an opportunity to say a little something real quick.
Yes. Oh no, just hello. Just trying to turn my camera on. I'm a mess. I'm always doing double duty, so I'm actually going to get my kids right now.
Always. You're
But
good.
I
You're
am
good.
new. Yeah, always doing double duty. But I'm new to the board. This is definitely one of the committees I was most excited to join. Education is my passion, so I'm really happy to be here. Glad to make a committee meeting. From what I understand, this is where all the work takes place. So I'm super excited to be here, and just excited to get to know all of you. Thank you for having
And we are completely excited to have you here.
me.
Okay, can I just have a couple of minutes, Miss Simpson Amsterdam, just to introduce yourself for me, please? Well, not for me, for everybody else.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sheba Simpson Amsterdam. I actually teach Talene's granddaughter Summer in global history. I'm also the special education coordinator at the high school that Summer attends. I am a CEO of a nonprofit called I'm on Assignment Inc., which is located in Manhattan. I'm the author of the book I'm on Assignment and So Are You. It is about finding your purpose, walking in your purpose, completing your earthly assignments, and passing the baton to someone else so that they can find their earthly assignments and complete them. And Tolene is one of my new favorite people in the world. She's inspirational. She's a girl after my own heart when it comes to the youth and education. I've been in the Department of Education for more than 24 years. Had a license in special education. I have a license in special education. I had a license in school building leader and a pending district leader license. So I've done a lot, seen a lot, and I am a former candidate for City Council for District 9 in Harlem, and I'm happy to be here.
All right, thank you so very much. I
You're
appreciate you.
welcome.
Miss Espaillat, would you please grace us?
Good afternoon. Good evening. Sorry, I'm doing 3 meetings in one. Good evening, everyone. My name is Adili Espaya, and I'm the Director of Constituent Services for Congressman Jamal Bowman. And I'm also the Immigration Specialist for the Congressman as well. We are here to assist, and I will drop my contact in the chat, and I'm honored to be here tonight as part of being a NY16 congressional district coming from an office of Congressman Bowman, who is an educator. This is a topic that's extremely important for him as well. Thank you so much for the invitation to all.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Give him my regards as well. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Okay, I see Miss Franco and Miss Ramsey. If you would please do us the honor.
Hi, welcome. My name is Caitlin Franco from Equality Charter School. I'm actually going to turn it over to Principal Huza, Miss Huza, who's on the call, and Miss Ramsey, our parent coordinator. They were going to present tonight. So thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I'm going to share my screen. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, Miss Huza.
Awesome. All right. Good. All right, Miss Ramsey, do you want to start us off?
Yes, I will. Thank you for having me. I'm Miss Ramsey, parent coordinator at Equality Charter School. So thank you. We're going to talk about our wonderful new building, elementary/high school campus, 801 Bartoli Street, Bronx, New York, 10467.
And so as Ms. Franco said, my name is Amanda Huza. I am currently our middle school principal at our Co-op City location, and I will be our founding elementary school principal. Ms. Ramsey is our parent coordinator. She also happens to be a former parent. I had the pleasure and the honor of teaching her children. We have our executive director and our founder, Caitlin Franco, and then not with us tonight, but in charge of enrollment for our schools is our district director of operations, Amanda Myers.
Focus of today, 801 Bartoli Street. I got to get closer because it's tiny. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. When When complete, the building will have over 62,000 square feet of interior space, plus over 7,000 square feet of outdoor space. Why 801 Bartholdi Street? Move the entire K to 12 to District 11, which is, we're really excited about that. Create a unified experience for our scholars and their families, ability to create a true community and complex. Our mission, to ensure each scholar reaches individual academic and personal success through a nurturing, scholar-centered approach. Equality, that I love so much, was founded on the principle that we cannot afford for any child to get lost in the public educational system, which I know we all would agree with that one. We believe in meeting our scholars where they are and guiding them on a path that empowers them to choose for themselves. We promise to give our scholars the tools they need to define their own meaning of what success is and the tools to achieve it throughout their lives.
So we're really excited to be expanding down to elementary school. This is a little bit more about me. I am born and raised in the Bronx, still a Bronx native. I had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Dickerson on the phone. She was talking to me about the Sousa campus. I'm like, oh, my son goes to One World. So I'm a parent of two students who grew up in the Bronx educational system. And so it really is an honor and a privilege for me to be able to serve my community and to be able to provide the dynamic and resilient team of educators that we know our scholars deserve in order to be able to set priorities around safety, but also academic rigor and social emotional wellness. Our school program, our brand is what we're known for. Equality Charter School graduates scholars with a demonstrated career and college readiness so that they are prepared for the path they choose after high school. We are not a college-only school, a college prep school. We believe that our job is to make sure that every door is open to scholars and they have the choice to decide what doors they walk through, whether it's right after high school or after some time, and then as they're continuing their post-secondary lives. But by the time that the scholars leave us, they will be able to rely on their proficient reading and writing skills. We want to create excellent communicators, be managers of their own independence. We know that freedom is choice. Be critical thinkers who can access those skills whenever necessary, not just in terms of the classroom, but in real life. Be self-aware as a school community members, as classmates, and as learners. We want them to know what they're good at, what their likes are. Also, what are the things they know they're not good at and they want to build their skills in. And then we want them to be curious, engaged learners. So these are some of the makeups of what we're hoping to bring to the community. Ms. Ramsey and I had the opportunity to have some focus groups last week where we asked our staff what was important to them. And after safety, Ms. Ramsey, what was it that the staff kept talking about?
Making sure our program focuses on supporting our families and building partnership with our community, which I agree.
Absolutely. So we want to make sure that our space is something that, yes, our scholars have the opportunity to enjoy, but how are we bringing our families into conversations, into the opportunity to engage and learn and build community with one another inside of an environment that allows them just to see the continued beauty that there is in the Bronx. And that's what we want to be able to provide with our new building. So we're really grateful for the opportunity to present. I know we had the opportunity in November, so thank you for having us back and giving us this time to share with everyone. And then here is our contact information, but we look forward to being an active part of the meetings that are happening moving forward. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for having us, and we'll be back here again. Thank you.
Thank you all so very much. It's nice to be able to put a face with the voices and the names.
Definitely.
I also noticed that Dr. Joseph is on. Dr. Joseph is one of our members. Dr. Joseph, if you would please grace us with just a couple of words, please.
I'm here. I've been a member of this committee for quite a while now. And it's always an honor to be a part of it and to see what's happening at the K through 12 level and see how that map into the college level and see it all the way through. I'm very much engaged in education from K all the way up to doctorate level. So that's as much as I want to say at this time. As we go along, there will be more to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's good to hear from you, Dr. Joseph. And
My
if Miss Martin will take a minute and just say hello to us for a second, Miss Keisha Martin, who's also in education.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Keisha Lago Martin, and I am the Government Relations Liaison at Purchase College. And I also manage rentals on campus. So any of you who are looking to bring your youth up into Westchester during the summer months or our off seasons, please be in touch. We always look forward to welcoming them on campus and showing them what an experience on a campus would be like in the residence halls and in the classrooms. And I can put my information in the chat.
Thank you, Keisha. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Shaniqua, Miss Moore, are you available at this time? I know you're on another call as well. Probably not. Okay, so on that note, on the agenda,
Madam Chair, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just had one quick question for
Sure.
Principal Uza. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Huza, it's fine.
Uza, okay. So just a quick question. In terms of, and I know you're the principal of the middle school, but would you happen to have the graduation rates for the high school for your ENL/ELL population or your SPED population?
I can pull that up. What I will say is we are very proud of the fact that our numbers outperform District 11, District 8, where our high school is currently located, although it'll be moving to District 11, the city and the state. But let me get you that specific information, and I'll send a.
You could just put it right in the chat. You could put it in
Got
the
it.
chat.
Yeah, absolutely, Ms. Bonds. Give me
All
one
right.
second.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
Mr. Noel, is there something you trying to reach me? I noticed.
Yes, I would like to do a presentation. I'm not sure when, but I would like to present on the Neighborhood Advisory Board, and especially why I'm here to speak with you all about.
Please take the time right now.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen. I hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes, Mr. Noel.
Okay. So the Neighborhood Advisory Board was pretty much founded in 1964, during the President Johnson administration, where he come with the plan about the war on poverty, and that was passed. So we create a Neighborhood Advisory Board. We have a total of 41 board in the entire city. We have Bronx 12, Bronx 1, Bronx 3. So right now, why I'm here because we are in need of members. Young people. We have an age limit from 16 and up. And even though you are on a community board, you still can join the Neighborhood Advisory Board. We met quarterly to pretty much talk about what are we going to do, and we have a need assessment. The need assessment is that we assess exactly what is the community need are and how can we provide services. So we have a list of services in the community. provide services, and we pretty much just need your help to help us recruit board members. We had our first meeting at the community board, so we thank you so much for letting us using the space to have our meetings, and we are looking forward more to have that. But our goal right now is to pretty much recruit community residents. Uh, you'd have to live in the community. That's the only difference between being in the community board and also the advisory board. I know in the community board, you don't have to live in the community as long as you have a business. But the neighborhood advisory board is that you have to live in the area that you lived in to be part of the board. So I'm pretty much go over everything just within that because I don't want to take a lot of your times. So if you have any questions, I'm gonna leave my information. If you have any questions, to please let me know. And if you know anyone who would like to join the advisory board, please let me know. We have our application online and also in hard copies.
Thank you so very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
We also have Miss Patricia Patterson Salmon. If you would like to say a few words for me, please.
Sure, good night. Let me get my camera on. Hello? You hear me?
Yes, I hear you and I see you.
Hi, good night, everyone. So I'm a constituent liaison at Assemblyman Collier's office. I'm basically here just listening in, but we also have events coming up. So I just wanted to reiterate that. So that would be April 8th at the YMCA, North Bronx YMCA, and we're having a game night and everyone is invited. So that would be all. Just listening in.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
And before we start, when we get into a presentation I have with Miss Letitia Stewart, I would be just completely crazy if I didn't get an opportunity to shout out Miss Virginia Connolly. Miss Connolly was the principal that I worked for when I first started teaching, back when they had like dinosaurs and stuff. No, not really, I know.
Right, you're dating us.
Miss Connolly, you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm
Awesome.
here.
Just want to say a couple of words for us.
Sure. Yes, as Colleen said, we had the great opportunities to work together at 123 in the District 8 in the Bronx. Worked there, was principal there, and then went on to do various and sundry other things in the city. And now I'm here as a guest of Colleen and also as a member of the Center for Educational Innovation. And in a coming month, I might, hopefully I'll be able to come back and have one of our people come from our team come and talk to you about our community schools operations, because we are community schools throughout the Bronx, and we will be looking for, we actually have been awarded 14 new projects, and we'll be looking for community school site directors. So once that goes through the process of getting the posting formalized through the city, we'll come back and make sure to share that with your group and you to Tali, and I trust your judgment explicitly. But it's a pleasure to be here and just to see so many people committed to education of our kids and committed to high quality education for the kids who are most often left behind and underserved and under-resourced. So thank you all and for the work you're doing here.
Thank you, Miss Connolly. It's so great to have you on. Okay, so now we can get to the agenda. We have a presentation by Letitia Stewart. She's the Executive Director of iRaise, Girls and Boys International Corporation. Ms. Stewart?
Hello, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well.
Doing awesome, thank you.
Glad to hear it. Well, it is definitely a pleasure for me to be here this evening with everybody. Let me turn on the camera. So
Thank
yes,
you.
definitely a pleasure to be here with everybody this evening to talk a little bit about our organization. Again, my name is Letitia Stewart. I am with I Raise Girls and Boys International Corporation. We are a nonprofit that has been working within the Bronx for the past 10 years. This is actually our 10-year anniversary. We are really excited about that and so excited to be serving the Bronx community. Our founder, who's also the CEO of the organization, was more, originated here in the Bronx. I am born and bred in the Bronx, lived here all my life, and just really excited to be able to put back into the Bronx and my Northeast Bronx community what was really given to me growing up. So uh, a pleasure to kind of. Am I able to share my screen? I'm just want to
Yes,
make
you
sure.
are. Yes, you are.
Let's see. Okay, hold on a second. Let's see. Let's see. I think it's giving me a little hard time right now. Hmm. Looks like it's not allowing me.
What is it? What is
Not
it
sure why
saying?
it's not allowing me. I think it's saying my system preferences is not allowing me to share, which is kind of strange. 'Cause I have been sharing all day. So I'm not sure why it's not allowing me to share this time.
Been sharing on WebEx. WebEx is different.
It was on Zoom, so maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, WebEx is different.
Oh goodness. Well, I do apologize for that. Let's see if
Could you send someone the presentation and they can show it?
sure. Ms. Dickerson, do you mind if I share it with you?
Hold on one second. Go ahead. Wait, you know what?
I have your Gmail, so I was gonna share it there, if that's okay.
Wait, give me 1 second because I
No
don't
problem.
think you can. Who's on?
You need me to help out in some way?
Yeah, would you please, Denise? Thank
Okay.
you.
So, I will put, hold on 1 second. I will put my email in the chat for you, and then you can send it to my email.
I appreciate that. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
No problem.
Okay, I see it.
Thank you. Thank you.
No worries.
Just let me know if you received that.
Yes, I did. Give me 1 second to just open it up, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I received it. Hopefully I will be able to open it up. So give me a minute. Let me just see now.
I want to thank all of you for your patience.
Yes,
Thank
and
you
in the
so much.
meantime, I could talk a little bit about why we do what we do, which I think is very important as well. So not just the what we do, but the why we do what we do. So we actually did a parent workshop last week where we were talking with a number of parents, and they actually all weren't even from the Bronx or from New York. We had parents that were from Yonkers, parents that were in South Carolina. I guess they just because we had it posted on Eventbrite, so they kind of came from everywhere. But the interesting part is that as we were having the conversation, because we were talking about advocating for your children, is that so many parents across the board really had shared similar stories. And like I said, these are parents from different states, but still all different stories of the education system just not quite serving their purpose, right? And serving the purpose for the children. They're not always feeling welcome. They're not always feeling like they have um, the ability to speak up for their children and not quite sure how to go about doing that. And so, I think when everyone kind of left because we all shared our stories, as parents and the things that we have experienced, and everyone walking away really felt invigorated and very inspired about the things that they could potentially do for their child and for other children. So, one parent even talked about creating little cards that she would take and give out in front of her child's school to try to mobilize the parents. Like, if you want to see change, if you want to see, um, something happen different within the school, let's get together as a parent body and make something happen. And that's really what I think is at the core of iRaise as well, is really about making something happen, making change happen, and knowing that we cannot do it alone. We are, of course, very inspired and, a nonprofit, and there's so much that we want to do within the community. However, we know we can't do it alone. We also know the educators can't do it alone. We know that the parents can't do it alone. We all have to come together. And if we want to really advocate for the children, we all have to be part of that process. We all have to step up and be the advocate for our kids. So that is really I think at the foundation and the heart of iRaise is just really being that advocate for really developing young people. So taking not what we want them to be, but what they want for themselves, giving them a vision, giving them some passion around a subject or a topic, whether it's the arts or whatever program that they're in that we are giving to them. We just want them to thrive and to understand that we have their back and that they are not alone in what they're doing. So, what I wanted to talk today is about our in-school program. So, we do a lot of community
Excuse
programs
me,
as
Miss
well.
Stewart. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I just
Sure,
wanted to know, can you see the screen now? Can you see
I
the
can.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yes,
Perfect.
and thank you.
Okay. And you just tell me when you want me to go to the next slide.
If you don't mind going to the next slide, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Oh, and one more.
Okay.
So just a little bit, like I said, I mentioned that we kind of originated in the Bronx, starting out just as a mentoring program for girls. And from there, it has truly grown over the years to provide services for our young men as well, and to not only provide services within the community, but within the school setting. So we actually go into the school buildings that we are partnered with, and we provide variety of different services. So you can move ahead. So, our schools program, so we do counseling within the schools, we do mentoring in schools, we have different arts programs as well. We have after school program and we have our college and arts program. But all of it really is tied to, again, focusing on young people, strengthening their foundation, um, making sure that they are mentally and emotionally well and sound, and that they are connected to opportunities, given access to opportunities. That's really what that school's program is about, seeing pathways for themselves, whether it's to college or to future careers. We also have our community programs. We do a mentoring program that's outside of the schools. We have our Big Brother Big Brother Big Sister program, which is individual. So we both do both group and individual. Our Rising Scholars, Early Scholars, those are our tutoring programs, and we also do performing arts. So we do classes in art, in dance. We've actually done a number of different programs online since the pandemic happened. We've done STEM classes, we've done comic book drawing classes, we've done sculpture, we have done for the teenagers, we've done Black History Month, or not just for the month, but Black History classes. We've really, really done a lot, and we try to stretch ourselves so that we can provide kids with everything that they really need. And as you can see, we run the gamut for all ages. So from pre-K all the way up through high school, we try to offer something within our programs. If you could move to the next slide. And so again, our schools program is really focused upon a more individualized approach. That's what we do. That's what we do. So when there's a school that presents interest, we sit down with them. We really want to learn what the issues are within the building. We want to learn what the goals are of the principal. We want to understand how the parents are feeling, how the students are performing. So there is quite a lengthy intake process. Actually, if you could move forward a little, I think there's a slide in there that kind of um, talks about that a little bit. That's just our school's program mission. So, providing holistic services. So we want to touch upon every aspect of a child's life that kind of would help them to develop and to continue to grow and succeed academically, personally, and socially. Um, if we could move to the next slide. We are within the buildings June through September, and our after school program actually operates during the summer as well. We do summer camp services. Our online classes, we do them during the summertime as well. But our in-school programs, of course, September to June. We're there for the length of the school day, including after school hours if the school requests it. And we work in conjunction with the New York City Department of Education's calendar. So when they are out, our team is off-site as well, but we do services virtually. So any child that is receiving counseling or mentoring, they actually can continue their sessions even when school is out for, let's say, spring recess that's coming up or the winter break. They're still able to receive those services and connect with that social worker that's working with them. If you could, next slide. So again, just talking about our approach. So very partner forward. Um, Always looking to customize the program to the needs of the school, to the needs of the students. So again, that kind of it can be a lengthy bit of a process to get to that point, but we don't mind it because we feel like it's very, very important that we are getting that full knowledge and understanding of what the needs are. We don't want to shortchange the school or the students in any type of way. So we want to make sure that we are giving our all and giving our best when we are on site. And if you could go to the next slide. So these are just some of the schools that we have worked with within the Bronx and in Brooklyn. So that's predominantly where we're concentrated right now. Of course, most of our schools are in the Bronx, and we are always looking to grow, looking to partner with even more schools because we understand that there's definitely a need for the type of services that we provide, especially since the pandemic and, just talking to our principal partners. It was not easy, especially that very first year coming back to in-person services. And so they needed a lot of help, a lot of support for the young people, and we're just almost pulling their hair out. I feel like, trying to figure out how to do that. So we were very grateful for them to allow us to be on site and working with them to be part of that development for the young people. And if we could move, I think, 2 slides more. So, yeah, so this is kind of the process that schools would undertake in order to receive services. So, how they connect with us. So it can be a few different ways. They may hear about us, like through something like this where we're presenting or talking, or it could be through the city council member or the local elected official that may know about our services, and in their communication with the schools within their district may come to us or may let the school know and connect us. So we've done it that way as well. And sometimes we reach out to schools. So, as we are working with families, that are within the community, they may tell us about or share information about the school that their child is attending. And if they feel like a service like this that we offer may be beneficial at their child's school, they may give us the contact information and we'll to connect with someone at their school, and we'll do that way as well. So there are definitely multiple touch points that allow us to connect with a school. So again, that initial conversation is with the principal, but we don't stop with just the principal. We bring in as many people to the table as possible in order to gain, again, as much information as possible. So there is a school assessment form that, again, helps to gather some of those critical topics and bits of information that we need. Once we have the kind of partnership established, we get a list of referrals. So the referrals come directly from the school. But again, there's like that conversation, there's the memo of understanding, of course, but then there's a whole orientation that happens to get them acclimated to us, I raise acclimated to the school. And really, it's about being incorporated into the school culture. We really look to be incorporated into the school culture. So, announcements, especially if it's a new partnership, announcements going out to other parents to let them know that this is a service that is available within the building, introductions to the staff members, maybe doing the principal's PD, usually on Mondays. That's kind of the popular time to have us come in and introduce the staff that will be assigned on site to that school, to the entire school community. And again, it just lets them know who we are so they know we're not just a bunch of strangers walking around the building, right? But they know what our purpose is, what our function is, and then they know how to connect with us because we'll let them know because referrals can come from the teachers as well. So let them know how they can make a referral if they have a student within their class that they feel could use some additional support, some extra support. And then we let them know where to find us. So usually we have a space within the building that is designated to our team. And so they can come by anytime that they would like and drop off a referral or discuss if they're having a situation, if there's a moment where conflict resolution, they need someone to kind of intervene, crisis intervention. We are on site and we are there for it all. So we definitely, again, look to be as well ingrained and incorporated into the school as possible. If we go to the next slide. Well, 2 slides, sorry. 'Cause then I'll talk about a bit of onboarding and who we target. So since COVID, of course, we say we target all children impacted by COVID, but there isn't one child that hasn't been impacted by COVID. So really, we're looking at the needs of every child, any child that kind of needs assistance. Students that may have behavioral challenges, if they're engaging in fighting, any type of violent behavior, they may be bullying or being bullied sometimes. If they tend to get suspended a lot or detention a lot, we are looking to work with all of those students. If they may be failing more than one class, or if they have an IEP. So if they do have an IEP, we don't necessarily duplicate what's on their IEP. So if they're there for and they receive individual counseling through their IEP, we may come on the back end and get them in a group and do group counseling. So we try not to, again, deter what's happening with their mandated services. And of course, any child that has a psychological challenge, so whether they have been diagnosed with like ADHD or ODD, autism, we target those students as well. We want to be a good support for them. And if we could go to the next slide. So, yep. So, we don't necessarily, especially during that pandemic, and I know there was all the mask wearing and, everyone kind of wanting to separate. So we don't necessarily have to have that direct contact, but again, we are on site and in the building, and meeting with people. But just in terms of the referral process, so there's a referral form. If the school has a student that they feel would be a benefit from the program, they complete that referral. They'll give it to one of us that's on the team. We usually have like a mailbox that they have for us in the main office. So we'll just check there whenever we're on site. We'll pick up the referrals and we look and see what's going on with that student. There is a very, very detailed intake process. If we could actually go to the next slide, it talks a bit about that. So, uh, once that intake happens, we go to interviewing the person who made the referral. We actually interview the parents because we want to know not only what's going on at school, but what's going on in the home. And then we observe that the team does observations. So they'll sit in on the classrooms, they'll sit in the lunchroom, they'll sit in gym time, they'll sit in on the playground when they're at recess to see what the interaction is like, how the student is behaving. And then, once that whole process happens, that we can't service any student in terms of counseling without the parent consenting. So that is always a requirement for us. So we usually work very closely with the school where they will kind of go to the parent and again, talk to them about the iRaise program and why they feel it would be beneficial for their child. Um, they'll have that opportunity to talk to us and learn more about the program, and they can make the decision. And of course, if they do sign up and at some point later on down the line, they feel like, you know what, I don't think this is necessarily, um, uh, something that my child wants to do or something like that. And I think, I want to pull them out. They always have the option of withdrawing their consent. So we don't hold them. Again, it's very important. We want the parent to be on board. But we do understand that sometimes when it comes to the idea of therapy, not everybody is comfortable with that. So we definitely respect the thoughts of the parent, but that doesn't mean that we don't give that child attention. So again, if there is a situation that's a crisis and someone needs to intervene or any type of conflict where they may be in a fight with someone, the student may be in a fight with someone and need a moment or someone to kind of again intervene and help to resolve the conflict, we can, intervene in those situations. It's just the parent doesn't consent, the ongoing clinical service that we could not do. But the intention is really to be there for every child that needs us. And so the team, again, we also do family therapy. That also is kind of part of what we
Sorry,
do if
excuse
they are
me,
on
Ms.
board.
Stewart. Ms. Stewart, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Sure.
Whoever is with the phone number ending in number 17, would you please mute yourself? If you're not presenting, would you please mute yourself? Thank you. Appreciate you. Go ahead, Ms. Stewart. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, so once that whole intake process is completed, again, all the observations are done, the social worker sits down with the student, they talk to the student, and then there's a service plan that is created. So especially when they're older, the students are usually involved, of course, in developing that goal plan, and they have something that they can work towards. Um, and then at certain point, there is a reevaluation. So they kind of sit down with the student and the parent and kind of reassess, these are the goals that we set out. And, let's kind of go through it and see where we are, with those goals. Have we achieved certain things and we can take it off of the treatment plan? Are there new things that have come up and kind of need to be added to the treatment plan, to the goal plan? So we want to make sure that everything that we're doing is current, that it's, again, addressing the needs of the child. So reevaluating at certain points throughout the school year are, kind of part of our process. And then again, there's always ongoing reporting and monitoring of behavior that happens. The team will speak with the child's teachers, regularly to see, any improvements and changes in behaviors, changes in attitude, changes in work, their academic work. We'll get their report cards, make sure that they are staying on track. And if we see that a student may need some additional academic support, the social workers will actually refer them to our community program, our community tutoring program, or the mentoring program to get them that extra assistance. If we could move forward a little bit. And so just wanted to talk about our integrative mental wellness model. So we have really developed what we feel to be a very robust mental health program. So again, part of that is really, and like I said, it's not that we only work with students that have a diagnosis, but that's who we want to really give the most attention to within the building. Students that have been diagnosed with something, so ADD, ADHD, anxiety, depression. We really want to help support those students as best we can because we know it's not easy for them. And if we could move to the next slide. So there's a number of different components to the program. So there are assessments that happen just to see if the child may have a diagnosis, because maybe the parent may want them evaluated to see if there is a diagnosis. So that's something that we can assist with and make it happen. Of course, the clinical counseling, whether it's in groups or individual, the conflict resolution, we do art therapy as well, where we utilize visual art, we utilize dance and theater as a means to help children express their emotions and their feelings. We also do, again, as I mentioned, the family counseling for students who need it, and the mental health aid workshops are for all students. So uh, the the professional development, and of course, if I mentioned, we do it virtually if we need to. So if we ever get back to that point again where we need to transition to, uh, virtual services, we certainly can do it. If we go I think if we go to the next one, I think that's kind of just breaks down. So really the next few slides just breaks down all those little different components that I just talked about. So the mental health assessments, um, and the next slide would be the group counseling. So students are grouped in different ways. So sometimes it can be based upon what their issue is. Like if they have a diagnosis, they may be grouped, based on that. If they're part of a particular group, like some of our high schools, they have their LGBTQ population and PDQ plus, sorry, population, and that may be a group. So it really all depends on what the need is and what kind of connects them. If we could go to the next slide. We have our individual counseling, so that's pretty much just more of the same. So that we try to do more group counseling or trying to do more group counseling because we want to reach more students. So of course, if we're just doing students all individually, there's only but a certain capacity that the team can have. And we really want to maximize the number of students that we are reaching and providing services to. So we're trying to do more group work, but those who really have, an exceptional need, like, that may have suicidal ideation, again, or depression, and really need to see someone individually, we want to be there and we provide that service for them. The next slide, again, the conflict resolution. So we are there on demand. So, as needed, if there is a worker that's available, that's not in a session and something happens, we are there to intervene. And it's not just students to student, but if the student and the teacher, may need, something may be going on between the two and needs someone to kind of come in and intervene and resolve. We want to be there for that as well to help in those situations. So, and that can typically go between 5 and up to 30 individuals because, as you know, sometimes fights that students have is not just one-on-one, right? It could be this group of students versus this group of students. So we can certainly intervene and do some conflict resolution around groups of students as well. On the next slide, we have our art therapy. So again, that's in those, when we have those types of programs, the social workers actually work in conjunction with the art therapists to really understand kind of the needs of the students that are being serviced through counseling. And then some of those issues that are coming up, the art therapists will incorporate that into their sessions. So there is really is like that collaboration and flow between the two to really make it a cohesive experience for the children that are participating. And on the next slide, we have our family counseling. So again, we don't look to just service the students that are in the building, but we know to really make a difference, we have to give some attention to everybody that's around that child, so that they too are able to help to build that child up. So in addition to working with the students, the social workers will also set up family sessions. So it really is about improving that family dynamic. So making sure that the parents understand the needs of their child, maybe what stage of development that they're in, some of those little things and quirks that may get under their skin, really understanding maybe why those things are occurring, that stage of life that children are in, and maybe some of the things that they may be feeling. Um, and addressing that maybe the parent or the family doesn't know about. So it really is about bringing families closer together and really bringing about more family unity by working with them together and not just individually. And on our next slide, mental health aid workshops. So we want to work with all students. The goal of being in the school with our integrative mental wellness program is to have a mental health informed environment where everybody within the building has a sense of what mental health means, that it is not a stigma, it's not a bad word, that everybody has challenges, one challenge or another. And at some point, everybody's going to have a mental health challenge. So, but what does it look like? What does it mean to identify what trauma looks like in yourself or in others? And if you do have someone that is in your life that has experienced trauma or is talking about, harming themselves or others, or feeling, depressed, what should they do? So these workshops are really for all students within the building, whether they're receiving our counseling services or not. So we'll push into advisory periods. We'll do, assemblies for different grade levels where we are actually having this mental health training for the students. So and we would do that throughout the school year until we actually have worked with every school student within the school. That's the goal for the mental health aid workshops. And then for the next slide, we do our professional development workshops as well. So again, how kind of helping educators understand how to work with children of trauma, and technically how to understand some of the trauma that they may have experienced as well, and working with the kids in the classroom, getting over their own emotional situations. So we have a number of different workshops that we offer, but we also, again, because we are very focused on customization, if there is a specific topic that a principal or teachers feel like they would like to have, we actually can come up with a custom workshop, PD workshop for the school as well. I think the two main things that we have seen this year is this workshop on working with children of trauma, and then also for self-care. Those were kind of like the ones that we've been asked to do this current school year. So um, we definitely want to keep supporting our um, our teachers and our educators as they are working with our young people. And one thing that I forgot to mention was actually our parent workshops as well. If we go another couple slides down, so our service breakdown. So this is our integrative wellness model. One more up, sorry.
Okay.
The integrative wellness model.
Wait, hold on one second.
No problem.
Hold on. This is the one you want.
That's the one.
Okay.
So this kind of just gives an overview of everything that falls under that model, and including the parent workshop. So we do a lot of virtual workshops because we know sometimes the schools are still not, big on groups of parents kind of coming in, and they're doing the parent teacher conferences still virtually. So a lot of our parent workshops are virtual as well, including the one that I mentioned we did last week. But for those schools that are interested in having in-person workshops, we do that too. So if they are interested in having the parents come back into the building, and we do have our schools like that, we certainly can do it in person, on site parent workshop as well. We actually have a few of those coming up too. So, and then our last little slide just kind of talks about who's on the team, right? So who's in the building when iRaise is in the building. So I am usually there. I actually rotate my schedule so that I stop off and go around to each of these schools, and I'm working with the principals to make sure that the program is implemented the way that they like, and that everything is going smoothly. We have our clinical director. We actually have a schools department director too that we brought in recently. We have our clinical director who provides the clinical supervision for our licensed social workers. We also have our graduate level social work interns that are on site, helping to provide services to the students, and of course the art instructors, and the art therapists that when we do our art therapy program. So that is pretty much an overview of iRaise and our mental health program. As you can see, it's very intensive, intensive, but we feel that it needs to be in order to really do what it needs to do. So that that's our program, and that's our service. And again, we are looking to work with as many schools as we possibly can. Right now, we actually have a few other schools that are looking for some services. So we actually also are looking for licensed social workers to perhaps serve on a per diem basis. So if anyone knows of a social worker that might be interested in per diem work, definitely have them reach out to me. And I thank you all. So I'm definitely willing to answer any questions anyone may have. And I'll put also my information in the chat. So in case anyone wants to reach out or learn more about the programs, any of our programs, certainly can get in touch with me.
Madam Chair, there's 2 questions in the chat.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I can see the questions in the chat there. So sorry, so Ms. Roth, for that first question, do we have access to psychiatry services? So actually, we do. So iRaise is actually starting a new partnership. We're really excited with the Child Center of New York. So, and through that partnership, it's going to really take what we do and add an extra layer of access and services onto that. And part of that is the actual psychiatric services. So again, those students that need to be evaluated or, where a parent may want to have them evaluated for diagnosis, we will be able to connect them to psychiatrists to do that. And if they have any young people on medication, if they need medication management, that will be able to be done as well. If parents need or families are in need of insurance, they actually have their own department that can help to connect families to opportunities for health insurance. They even do services for parents. So, of course, we only work with the students on site, but if the parents needed any type of services, they can actually do that through Child Center of New York as well. So, yeah, so we're really excited to be able to work with them and to really elevate the level of services that we're providing for each of our schools. And then I did see, does the program require a minimum number of students or hours? No. So we have some schools where we are serving about 30 students or more. And then we have some new schools where they only had about 5 students that they really wanted to target through the service. And we're there too. So we don't have a minimum number of students.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
had one question. Excuse me. Um, the cost for your programming, and first of all, your services sound exceptional. And really what the school system at this point stands in need of. But what is the cost for your programming?
It really all depends. So that again, it's kind of part of that tailoring of depending on what the need is. So depending on the level of students, so we do have the students kind of in tiers depending upon um, what the need is. So depending on the tier level of the students, it may be if it's something more severe, that they need more services rather than less. And sometimes if it's just a behavioral thing where they're acting out in class, not necessarily any severe trauma that happened at home, but they just have some behaviors that they want addressed, maybe a lower tier level. So we're working with those students. They may be able to be seen once a week or once every other week, but someone that may be suicidal, would need more attention and more services and probably need to be there more days so that they're getting someone to follow up with them on a more regular basis. So it really kind of depends upon the need, and then it depends upon the services. So some schools just want that counseling and don't want anything else. So even though we have like a whole integrative mental wellness program. They may not want parent workshops, or they may not want professional development. They may just focus on the kids and that's it. So that also can kind of impact the pricing. But I can certainly share, if
Right.
anyone is interested, I could share kind of what the pricing model is for all of the different services.
Okay, because
Mhm.
that would be key because like I said, your program sounds exceptional, but my school is um we have most of our community is low income, and so they would not be able to afford the services themselves. So we have to look at how, it sounds great, but how are we going to pay for it? It would be the
Right, right.
question. As I'm listening to you present your information, I'm thinking, well, how could I pitch this to my principal? But he's going to
Well,
say, well, where's the money
usually
coming from?
Right, right. So usually it is from either part of the funds or from the school. But we also apply for a lot of funding. So we'll go to city council. We apply for a lot of discretionary funding to help support, the program at any schools in their district.
Mhm.
So when that happens, sometimes we may ask people to, oh, we need you to like ask the principal to come with us to the city council member's office. So when we're
Mhm.
asking to sit down with them and say, this school needs this program,
Mhm.
the principal is right there to verify that and say,
Oh,
yes, I
gotcha.
do need that program.
Mhm.
And what can you do to help support us here? But like I said, we do a lot of foundation funding. This year we got funding through New York Community Trust, who we thank so much. That has helped to provide some of the services to some of our partner schools. And also now for the psychiatric services that kind of go through Child Center New York and all of that, that actually would get billed to insurance. So
Right.
that would kind of
Mhm.
be like a separate piece.
Mhm.
So the family's insurance would actually be billed, which is why the Child Center has their group where if a family doesn't have insurance,
Mhm.
they work with them and help them figure out how to obtain that insurance so
Okay.
that their child can get the services um, at school.
All right. Well, definitely that information on the tier pricing would be helpful.
Sure, I can absolutely share that. So again, I'm going to put my contact information in the chat here. Anybody, please do feel free to reach out to me, and I'll make sure to send you any information that you're asking for.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I apologize if I took up way more time than I was supposed to.
Don't apologize. Thank you. We appreciate you. Right now, we're going to have Dr. Diane Price Banks. Dr. Banks, hi there. I see you in the trees.
You see me in the trees. Hi, everybody. Hopefully I have access to the share my screen, but I would be remiss if I didn't shout out the people that I work with that I know on this call. So to all my familiar faces, hi. I did work and present at some of the organizations there, so it's nice to see everybody. I would also be remiss if I did not thank Ms. Tolene for allowing me an opportunity to have a talk with everyone about epidemiology. So I'm gonna shoot my shot here and try to share my screen. Let's see. Oh, it worked. That's
Dr.
fine.
Banks, can you please make sure you introduce yourself?
Yep, I
I
have
don't
it on
think
the
there were any other alphabets left after your name, so I was just.
she got jokes and she didn't even see my PowerPoint yet.
I love you.
It's slideshow. Okay. I pray everyone's seeing my screen, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so I am Diane Price Banks. I currently work at Bronx Community College. I'm an assistant professor, just got promoted to associate professor. And I am serving as the medical laboratory technician program director. Um, Many of you know me from my talks about clinical laboratory science. Well, clinical laboratory science and epidemiology can be married, and I've married these two professions. So I'm going to be talking to you about one of my second hats that I wear. um, So before I get started, I want to know who's in the room. So quick question, everybody. Does anyone know what an epidemiologist is? And do not Google it. You can put it in the chat. I think I have access to the chat. Or you can raise your hand or open up your mic and say what an epidemiologist is. And if you don't know, just say, I have no clue. And that's fine too if you don't know. I have no access to the chat anymore. It just went away, but okay. Tolene, is anyone writing anything in chat? Because what is going on? I have a new computer. I apologize. I don't know how to work the mouse
Dr. Banks, I was just gonna say our seventh graders just finished reading Patient Zero, and they did a whole module on epidemiology. So from them, I learned that an epidemiologist studies diseases and where they come from and how they spread. So hopefully the kids got it right and they didn't steer me in the wrong direction.
Very good, Amanda. Your kids are very smart. So many people, when I say I'm an epidemiologist, the first thought is dermatologist. They think I work with skin. I just want to make a clear distinction. It's a epidemiologist. So epi stands for epidemic. Demi stands for disease, and ologist is the study of. So the study of, or demographics, right? The study of demographics in a population, or the study of disease in a given population. So now my computer doesn't want to work. Okay. So here's my discussion points that I'm going to talk to you about today. First, we're going to define an epidemiologist, which Miss Amanda did with her students. We're going to talk about where they work. We're going to talk about how I contribute to the world as an epidemiologist / public health / clinical laboratory sciences. And then I'm going to also share my booking and contact information with you. So with that said, oftentimes we're called disease detectives. And what we basically do is we search for the cause of a disease. So we look at patient zero, for example, and first we have to find and investigate who patient zero is. And sometimes that includes interviewing with families, interviewing with patients. And sometimes this can be really hard for us because sometimes the patients are dead. So if we can't find patient zero, it makes our job very challenging because we have to get eyewitnesses that was around the information, around the patient, so we can triangulate what happened. So I like it because I get to play a detective. I get to do investigative work. And that's usually in the field. In the hospital, however, I use my instruments and I try to detect disease in a patient. We try to identify, epidemiologists try to identify patients that are at risk. So we're very much into public health, right? Who's at risk for getting COVID, for example? Who's at risk for diabetes or obesity or cancer? We have to identify these individuals, and then we have to model that information to provide the education to these individuals that are impacted. And then we try to implement some type of preventative care. And many of you have seen us in action and not know who we are and what we were. I'm pretty sure you've seen ad campaigns about not smoking. Smoking is bad, right? This was targeted from epidemiologists based off of individuals getting cancer. When we have a high rate of cancer in the community, we have to figure out, okay, where's this cancer coming from? Where is it? What is it linked to? And who is most susceptible to it? Once we identify these factors, we then communicate this information to the public. That's one of our most important jobs, is to communicate it to the public. So we have to do the research in the background, and then we have to communicate that. So I really appreciate the fact about what I really appreciate what I do, because it encompasses everything that I wanted to do as a child, right? I wanted to cure diseases. I wanted to understand diseases on a grander scale. And I wanted to be able to inform my community, my Black and Brown community. And so I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do, and I set myself up to do this. So I'm proud and I'm happy that Ms. Dickerson gave me the opportunity to share this knowledge with you. So where do we work? Well, we can work at applied epidemiologists at usually state hospitals or public health hospitals. We can work in infectious control, and that's what I do now with an organization I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. We could do infection control in a hospital setting or medical laboratory or at a college, right? We can teach, we can profess our knowledge. When I first started working at Bronx Community College, I mainly taught microbiology because my background was sexually transmitted diseases, and that's mainly microbial based. So I had fun doing that. I have fun doing that. And then you also have epidemiologists at the federal level, working with CDC, for example, or working with veterinary epidemiologists. So how do I contribute to the world? Well, this is my contribution as a woman, as a Black woman, as an epidemiologist. This is how I was able to leverage my education, my position, and my power to help the world. So first, during COVID, I was able to work with the CDC. We had weekly meetings about COVID, what we were seeing on the ground. And one of the phenomenal things that I was able to accomplish, my little small, tiny victories as a superhero that I can attest to, there were complaints by women who received the COVID-19 vaccine. And many of them were going to their doctor and they were saying to their doctor they were having these effects that only happen after they receive the COVID-19 vaccine. And so many of the doctors ignored many of the things that they were saying. Sorry, that's my husband in the background. They was ignoring many of the women and what their testimonies were. So someone who knew me and knew that I was a patient advocate told me about their story, and they told me about their menstrual disturbances. So as an epidemiologist, what I did was I investigated. I can't just take one person's experience as truth and fact. I have to do the investigative work. So I went about and I started looking into what was going on. And I saw that there was many women who was complaining about menstrual disturbances. So during one of the meetings with the CDC, after I gathered my data, I went to the meeting and I said, are we looking into the menstrual disturbances that have been reported by several women who received the COVID-19 vaccine shot? Immediately, they said there was no work being done. After presenting the data, they said, we will look into this and we'll figure out what's going on. 3 months later, they published a paper indicating that the COVID-19 vaccine did, in fact, impact some women's menstrual cycles and cause disturbances. But this is the small window, a small piece of the puzzle. The grander piece, because I brought this to the attention of the CDC, now the CDC is changing the way we do research. Given that the COVID-19 vaccine was widely publicized about their trials, their phases that they were going through to get FDA approval, one of the phases did not include women. And the effects of women, the effects of the menstrual cycle in women. So now the CDC has stated that they're going to put in place going forward a mechanism that all scientists, all researchers that's doing any type of research must identify if there were any menstrual disturbances amongst the women population. And that now has to be a reportable find. So this is very remarkable in the little world that we're working in, how we can make such a big impact by one person making light of what's going on in their world, and another person having the resources and a positionality to do something about it. I'm still working with the CDC, even though the pandemic has been declared over. We do meet every 3 weeks, so I'm able to still use my leverage there as well. I teach, like I said, at Bronx Community College, and that's me teaching. Yay. I did not know I was going to love teaching. So shout out to the teachers out there who know true pedagogy. I actually enjoy it. On a side note, I do work with All Hands and Heart. I'm a board member there. I also serve as their infectious control liaison or consultant. So anytime they have an issue with infectious control, especially during COVID-19, how to implement certain parameters, certain practices. Should we do this? Should we do that? That's one of the things that I do. I was the one making sure that the policies were in place, making sure the protocols were in place, making sure it made sense. And so I did a lot of work in that. Now, many of you probably are like, what's All Hands and All Hearts? All Hands and Hearts. Well, it's an organization that deals with disaster relief efforts. So in 2018, I became affiliated with them. I went out to Puerto Rico after the Hurricane Maria, the devastation that Hurricane Maria did with Puerto Rico. 200 of us went out there and we helped to rebuild their homes. Many of their homes were swept away in the hurricane. Some of them had second floors and third floors that was completely washed away. So what we did, if you had a hand, if you had hands and you had a heart, they asked you to come out and we helped to rebuild. And that's what I did. And I explained to them I was an epidemiologist and I wanted to be on the mutt and gut team. And so this picture in the middle is me being on the mutt and gut team. What happens after a hurricane is that there's the homes or the basements are full of water. And you all know when you're full of water, that's a conducive environment for mold, right? And so this homeowner, his house was full of mold. He couldn't live there, but he had nowhere else to live. So he stayed there in this mold infested environment. So what we did as All Hands and Heart, we went, completely got rid of everything, all the debris, all the garbage, everything out of his home. And then we sanitized it using a high powered, very toxic uh, um, sanitizing equipment to get rid of the mold. So as you see, that's me in the front with the green hat. I'm in my Decon 4 suit. So proud that I'm in a Decon 4 suit. So excited. Not many epidemiologists get to be in a Decon 4 suit. So I'm happy I had that opportunity to do that. And that's me spraying this toxic chemical on the walls to kill the mold. After we spray the wall, we then brush the wall to get rid of the mold from there so it can kill it. And then they have to sit there for 36 hours. And no one can be in there until the 36 hours are met. And then the homeowner can move back in. So we were able to do a lot of great work in Puerto Rico, not just resurfacing roofs, but helping people move back into homes that was been in their families for generations. The last thing, and of course, not really the last thing, but the last thing I'm going to discuss in this presentation is that I'm an author. I was able out of COVID write 2 papers related to COVID and education and how online learning and in-person learning impacted students in the college at the City University of New York. This is my second paper. I'm now working to publish my third paper. I've collected a lot of data, so I'm looking to publish at least 3 more papers out of the data that we received from during the pandemic. I've also was able to write a chapter in a textbook in regards to COVID-19, and talking about the the mechanism on how it infects the individual, the body of COVID, which I did put in a picture earlier in this presentation. And we also talked about vaccines and vaccination and some of the treatment modalities that were available during the pandemic. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about epidemiology. I like to share this with a lot of people. So if you're interested in me coming to your facility to talk about epidemiology and the career paths that are encompasses with that, I'm happy to do so. I usually go to career fairs or college fairs. I do virtual and in person. I can do presentations on COVID-19, on the vaccines. Um, I can talk about the paper that I wrote about the student learning preferences, either online or in person. I also talk about faculty preparation. So my pedagogy people out there. And I also wrote a paper about cholesterol, stress, and learned helplessness, which really impacts the Black and Brown community, and the outcomes of success. So I can also talk about that. So if you're interested in learning more about what I can do, or if you want to stay in contact with me, please scan the QR code. That's my business card. It should go right to your phone once you scan it. I thank you so much for the opportunity. And again, Tolene, thank you so much for allowing me to present.
It is always my extreme pleasure. Thank you so very much. I see a hand up, or is that a clap? I think that was a clap from Miss Roth. Yeah, yeah, I'm a little slow. It was okay.
Phenomenal.
Definitely phenomenal. At this time, quickly before we close out, we have a former board member, Miss Barbara Gibson, on the call, and she just wants to talk briefly about a book that she has written. Miss Gibson, are you there? Miss Gibson?
I'm not seeing that telephone number.
Okay, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. I'm gonna do one more scan. Nope, I don't see it.
Okay. Well,
I'm calling her. Give me 1 minute.
Okay, Ursula, thank you. Is there anyone else that has anything they'd like to contribute?
Hi, I was wondering if I could ask kind of like a general question.
This sounds like Jaylene.
Yeah, this is Jaylene.
Hi, baby. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I just wanted to ask, because I know this is like the education committee. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Jaylene. I started a community garden in the neighborhood. It's on the corner of Boston Road and Marola Place. And we're a youth garden. So I wanted to ask if anyone, I've been talking to some community members, and we're interested in starting programs where we have like classes from the neighboring schools come to the garden. And I don't like, my typical way I would approach that is just like going and trying to talk to the principals. But I just wanted to ask, like, generally, if anyone had any like advice, or if there was any standard procedure that I should use to go about that. I know that the schools by us are like 169, and then there's the school that's right on Seton Falls Park that I'm forgetting what number it is. And then there's also the middle school on Schieffelin Avenue. But yeah, we just want to start like inviting schools to kind of regularly come experience the garden. And yeah, I just wanted to ask if there was, but yeah, I can wait until this person finishes presenting. But I guess if anyone has any ideas, you can just message me in the chat.
Miss Gibson's on.
Thank you. Wait 1 second, Miss Gibson. Miss Roth, you wanted to say something quickly?
No, I just sent my
Okay.
email to Jaylene. Thank
All right,
you.
thank you so much. Jaylene, all my information is in the chat, babe. Please get in contact with me.
Okay, I'll email you.
Okay, Miss Gibson, you're on.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, Community Board 12. It's my pleasure to meet with the Educational Youth Committee to say hello. I've served 20 years as a board member, and during that time, I was a community coordinator director, working with young people of all ages. During that time, I saw the need of the book that I have written entitled 123, Manners and Etiquette for You and Me. During the virus times, I found time to fulfill the number one item on my bucket list, and that was to write a book to provide children Spanish and English about their life, social, and self skills. At this time, I will be reaching out to the community to get their opinion, as well as the Chancellor, David C. Banks, the Mayor, Eric Adams, Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson, to get their opinion. So I'm here this evening to tell you about Barbara Gibson LeGrant, licensed retiring from Community Board 12. Good wishes to all. Many thanks. Always thankful. Barbara Gibson LeGrant. Our society is forgetting and not approaching our children's manners, social skills enough each day. Even though you had a presentation earlier, it's time for our children to know that they have to use them. And that's why I came up with the book, 123, Manners and Etiquette, Self-Esteem for You and Me in Spanish and English. And I do hope that it will be suitable for the Board of Education and others to use on a daily use, not waiting for a contractor that we have to pay money for that don't reach out to all the children that might need it. But we must learn to teach our children how to speak to each other, how to know how to act in public, and to know of themselves. So thank you for this time, and I look forward to reaching back to you all. And, pardon me? Hello?
I'm not sure who that was, Ms. Gibson. But Ms. Gibson, is there a way that people can obtain the book or reach you? Can you put it in the chat?
Well, I'm on the phone because I couldn't get through to you all. But my email is as follows. It's manners, MANNERS, etiquette, ETIQUETTE @yahoo.com. So anyone wish to find out more about 123, Manners and Etiquette and Self-Esteem for You and Me, may reach me there, and then eventually you can have the opportunity to purchase my book.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gibson. Appreciate you coming on.
It's a pleasure to be able to do that. Blessings to the community board.
Blessings to you, Barbara.
To you as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Still giving back. You never stop once you become a community activist.
Thank you. So is there somebody who's getting ready to say something? Okay, before we close out, is there anyone else that would like to have anything to say, please?
Yes, Anthony, I'd like to say something. Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
I'd like to thank you for all your hard work and your research and being on top of everything. Tolene, you do a magnificent job, and I'm so thankful to be a part of this team. Great work, Tolene. God bless you.
I would like to second that motion also. I think this was a great meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Couldn't do it without all of you being here.
Good night.
Definitely. Great meeting.
It was so nice being a part of the meeting and listening to everyone that was on the meeting. Thank you very much, Tolene, for inviting me.
Thank you. It's so much education here. It's quite amazing. All I can do is sit and smile. Really.
I want to thank Ursula for allowing me on tonight, and my blessings go out to George, Barbara Gibson.
Thank you.
Dr. Banks, you're the bomb. You're the bomb, Dr. Banks. This is Anthony Reed.
You know we love you, Dr. Banks. We're gonna see you in a couple weeks, right?
Yes.
And Dr. Banks, I sent you that email, so I'm in the inbox already. Once we have the specifics, I'll let you know. But thank you all again for giving us the opportunity to present as well. It was really a special night. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Dickerson.
Thank you,
Mr. Isaac, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Isaac.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.
Great
Good night.
meeting.
Thank
Good
you
job.
so much. Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Charlene, great job.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
What about me?
Great stuff. Good night, everyone. Great
Good
stuff.
night, everyone.
You too, my
No,
dude.
I appreciate you. Hey, Benga. Thank you, Benga.
Hi.
Thank you for coming.
You're very special. Special night. I
You ain't
enjoyed
thank
it.
me for coming.
Thank you. Oh, I love you. I love you.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Sully.
coming.
Thanks for
Okay.
coming, Mr. Mike. Thank you for coming, bro.
You
That'll
too.
be next. That'll be
Oh,
next.
okay.
Dr. Mike.